So, you've spent months, maybe even years, in the lab making a huge discovery. But all that amazing work, it means nothing if it just stays locked away in your notebook. Honestly, the single most important step is getting it out into the world. So today, we're going to break down exactly how you write a scientific paper that makes your research stand out. You know, this quote really just gets to the heart of it. Science isn't something you do alone in a room. It's a massive global conversation. And a publication, that's your ticket into that conversation. Without it, your work just disappears. It can't help anyone else build the next great thing. It's not just the final step, it's the one that gives all the other steps meaning. And here's the scary part. You could be the most brilliant researcher on the entire planet, but if your writing is unclear, your message is lost. The stakes are just incredibly high. Poor writing doesn't just make great science hard to read, it can totally bury it. So that's the big question, right? How do you go from just having the data to presenting it in a way that's clear and has real impact? Well, it all starts with a simple but really powerful structure. Okay, so the secret to a well-structured paper isn't some super complex formula. It's actually this really elegant idea called the hourglass solution. And this simple shape, it's the key to telling a compelling story with your research. Just look at how this flows. You start out broad with the introduction, right? You give the reader the big picture context. Then, you narrow your focus way, way down to the specifics, your materials, your methods, your results. This is the heart of your work. And then, finally, you broaden back out in the discussion, showing how your specific findings fit into that wider scientific world. It's a perfect narrative arc. All right, let's get into the nuts and bolts of the paper itself. The IMRD framework. That's introduction, methods, results, and discussion. It's the gold standard for a reason. It maps perfectly onto that hourglass structure we were just talking about. But before we even get into the paper, let's talk about the title. It is, by far, the most read part of your work. A great title is a balancing act. It's got to be short, like 10 to 15 words, but packed with keywords so people can find it. It has to be clear, no jargon, and state your main point right up front. This is your first and honestly your most important chance to grab a reader's attention. This is the top of the hourglass. Your introduction is where you draw the map of the known world for your reader. You say, here's what our field already knows. Then you point to a big blank space on that map. That's the knowledge gap. Your final sentence should be like a giant signpost that says, this study, it's going right here to fill in that gap. Now, the materials and methods section has one single non-negotiable goal: reproducibility. Think of it like a recipe for your experiment. It needs to be so precise that another lab, anywhere in the world, could follow it exactly and get the same result. This is the absolute bedrock of scientific trust. Welcome to the most disciplined part of your paper, the results section. Your only job here is to report what you found. That's it. State the facts, present the data, show the tables. You have to resist every single urge to interpret or explain what it means. That comes later. For now, you are just a reporter, presenting the evidence, totally unbiased. And now, we widen back out to the bottom of the hourglass. The discussion is the big payoff. This is where you finally get to answer the so what question. You interpret your results, you explain what they mean, and you show exactly how they fill that knowledge gap you pointed out way back in the introduction. You're connecting your specific little study back to the huge, ongoing scientific conversation. Okay, so having the right structure, that's only half the battle. Now we need to talk about the writing itself. And the goal is simple: clarity. Your science is brilliant, and it deserves to be understood, not hidden behind a wall of confusing language. I mean, this is a funny example, but it makes a really serious point. Punctuation isn't just some stylistic thing you add later, it's an essential tool for creating meaning. A single misplaced comma can change everything. The kind of precision you use in the lab, you've got to bring that to the words you put on the page. You know, there's this dangerous temptation in science to sound smart by using really complex language, but true mastery is simplicity. Instead of a tangled mess like a loss of data being suffered, just say a power surge can lead to a loss of data. One is a puzzle your reader has to solve, the other is a clear statement. Always, always choose the direct path. This right here is the enemy, gobbledygook. It's writing that's so choked with jargon and crazy long sentences that the reader has to literally fight to figure out what you mean. Your job as a writer is to clear the fog, not create it. Your reader will thank you, trust me. Clarity is king, and ambiguity is its mortal enemy. Just look at this example. The writer's great-grandmother. Whose great-grandmother? Charles Dickens's? Or the author of the article? This kind of thing forces your reader to stop and solve a puzzle instead of actually absorbing your point. This headline is another perfect example. So, did the US remove the sequences, or is the US just confirming that they were removed by someone else? The difference between the word of and from can completely change the meaning. Precision is absolutely everything. Or how about this one? Who is giving money to whom? Is the conductor giving change, or is he waiting to be paid? The way the sentence is built creates total confusion. So before you move on from any sentence you write, you have to ask yourself, is there any other possible way this could be read? Okay, so we've got our structure down, and we know we need to be clear. But the real secret to a great paper, it's not in the initial writing at all. It's in the rewriting. That first draft is just the very beginning of the journey. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Rewriting isn't what you do when you make a mistake. Rewriting is the act of writing. Your first draft is just the raw clay. The craft, the clarity, the power, that all comes out during the revision process. Oh man, I think anyone who has ever written a paper can feel these comics deep in their soul. That endless sea of red ink from your supervisor, and that folder on your desktop with final _2, and final_final_ use this one. It's a universal struggle, but you know what? It's all part of the process. So how you manage all that revision chaos? With a few simple ground rules. Always use track changes so your co-authors can see what you're thinking. And please never send a PDF for feedback. It's like sending a stone tablet. Make sure you address every single comment, even if it's just to explain why you disagree. And for the love of everyone's sanity, use a clear file naming system and back up your work constantly. All right, so let's bring this all home. Writing a scientific paper isn't just a technical exercise in grammar and structure. It's an act of taking care of your discovery. Clear, powerful writing is the vehicle that carries your amazing science out into the world and allows it to have the impact it truly deserves. So, as you sit down to start your next paper, ask yourself this question. You've already done the incredibly hard work of discovery. Now, is your writing ready to tell its story? Is it ready to be as clear, as compelling, and as powerful as the science itself?